Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Allen, and I'm with Tornado Alley. And we are a chapter of Sisters in Crime. And my pleasure today is to be able to introduce you to Peggy Doviak, who I went to the Tornado Alley conference last spring, and she talked about her book. And I got all manner of excited, and I've been waiting for this book since then. So I'm really excited to tell you guys that she is here to tell you about this book. I can't wait to get my hands on, and then we'll talk a little bit about the conference as well. Peggy, tell us about the book.
Dawn, thank you so much for doing this interview. Yeah, I'm really excited about the book too. The name of it is 52 Weeks to Fearless: What Creatives Need to Know About Money. And I am in my other life a financial planner. I'm also a writer. And so this is my third personal finance book, and it's designed specifically for creatives, for those people in the arts who have slightly different money questions because they get paid unevenly and they don't necessarily have a company retirement plan. So there were lots of fun topics to cover, in addition to the fundamental concept, which is that you can do this and you can understand this and you can be good at this. And so the book offers 52 short chapters on different topics to try to help give people the vocabulary that they need to talk about it.
Mm. And the exciting thing, guys, here is this is not the first of the 52-week series. And so if you really dig this one, you'll want to go back and check out the other two.
You're really kind. Yeah, this
She,
is the third one.
yes. And I'm excited, of course, because I'm a writer, and let's just say numbers do not come kindly to me. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. And it will be available at Tornado Alley's conference in
Yes.
March. Okay.
Yes.
And so what you want to do is check out our Facebook page and make sure that you get all signed up to be able to be there to hear about this wonderful book. Um, about Peggy, Peggy is like, the Renaissance woman. She is this certified financial planner, which just I can't quite cope with that because I have trouble balancing my checkbook. But I'm going to read this book, and I am going to be shocking my family with my sudden astute nature in terms of numbers. Um,
Absolutely.
and Peggy is also the writer of A Cozy, You Can't Cheat Death, which I think sounds absolutely wonderful. And I'm looking forward to reading that as well. And I bought a copy already for my mom. So
Oh,
I'm
that's nice.
excited to see how well she likes it because she's a big reader. She loves to read books. Um, Peggy is one of our prolific writers that are part of Tornado Alley, and she's certainly someone you want to follow. So make sure that you go out there and check out her Facebook, her Instagram, her everything she's got, because you want to follow her and learn from her. I want to ask you first off, Peggy. I'm always curious about what brings us into things, right? So,
Uh-huh.
what brought you into writing?
Oh, so the writing is an old love. I actually have a master's in creative studies that I got. I
Ooh.
was an English teacher and freshman comp professor for about 10 years. And so the master's in creative writing was very much something I really don't remember not wanting to be a writer. It goes back to probably I'm 6 or 7. And so finally, getting to write, which is kind of fun because one would actually think that I'm certainly when I was getting that degree, I didn't think I'd be writing personal finance. But the really hard right turn was when I went into finance, and I did that because my mother got taken advantage of by a stockbroker, and I got really super duper mad and changed a hard right turn in the direction of my profession, and then was in long enough, because you have to actually know quite a bit to fill an entire book. And so it took me a long time to feel confident enough to actually write a personal finance book, which is written with the intent of helping people understand their money. Because my mom was super smart, and she just really got taken advantage of. And so I write to help people not get taken advantage of with their money. That's at least why I write the personal finance. So yeah, the actual, it's kind of the finance side that's the weird side more than the writing side.
And a lot of us talk about this. So much of our writing comes from our life journey, right? And
Mhm.
so this thing that happened to your mom kind of changed the trajectory of
It,
your writing career to
oh,
add
it
this whole
changed
new
the
element.
trajectory of my entire life. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I was a corporate trainer, and I did a little editing on the side, and then I got mad, and it's like, I can do this.
Mm. And I really think we don't talk enough about it as writers, because I'm constantly having people ask questions about, why we write and what got us started in writing. And I know, I am halfway through my first nonfiction book, and it's the direct result of being a caregiver for 20 years. So
Sure.
so much of what we do encounter in life is what will drive us even deeper into writing, even if we've already been in that path. Like you, I was an English
Absolutely.
teacher and a professor, and I was,
Right.
the creative person. Um, but I had never written nonfiction. I'd always written fiction. And so
Right.
what happens to us in life really drives
It
that.
impacts what we do. It does. And it's very different than writing fiction. When I first got into it, because it had been so many years since I'd tried to write fiction, I actually thought it was easier to write fiction, to write nonfiction than it was to write fiction. I'm not sure. I'm almost thinking now, but I'm a little bit further into the writing fiction, that it might be a little bit easier to write fiction.
Yes, yes. I think, I don't feel as, when I'm working on the nonfiction book, I'm very aware of the fact that I need to say things that are factually true,
Right.
or that at least apply to my caregiving journey. And with fiction, I I know people talk about there being rules, but there really are not. When you sit down to write, there is nothing holding
Right.
you back.
Right.
And so I think it's very freeing, uh, to write in that regard. But themes pop up,
Oh,
in
yeah.
our writing that also come from those aspects of our lives.
Right.
And so, what other themes come up in your writing besides the the numbers side that you've gotten through
Well,
finance?
so, most of the things that drive our money are actually not numbers related. It's how we look at money, it's how our community looks at money. It's trying to, it's not just a stock and bond portfolio. It's like knowing how much you spend, because if you know what you spend, you know how to create an emergency fund, you know how to save for retirement, you know how to buy insurance. So to me, it's looking, and what I really do like about finance is there's so many pieces to it. And I like to help people with it, and I like to work with the vocabulary to make it easier, because there's a whole lot of words in finance that can be very, very confusing. And so I really like to do that. And I really like to make the money something. If you think you can't do it, you're probably right. And so if I can make it something that you know you can do because it's not very much, or it's not as hard as you thought it was going to be, or I wasn't as judgmental as you thought I would be, because it's that whole psychology of money that holds people back from starting. They're so
Mm,
afraid they'll be criticized that they don't even want to start.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of us probably are just flat out insecure. And so I
Sure.
think one of the exciting things about your book is it's kind of like having that little angel on your shoulder that's going to go, here, you know how to do this. See,
You
remember
absolutely know how
chapter?
to do this. That's right.
And so I'm really, I'm happy that that finally those of us creatives out there will be able to, turn to something like this that can actually help us. Because one of the issues for me as a writer is that I have trouble thinking as a business person because I've written for bulk of my life without doing much beyond I sold my short stories, right?
Right.
And
Sure.
so now I'm in that place where marketing suddenly is this big
And
animal that I have to manage.
so I broke the book into two parts. The first part, and there's bleed over. So if you're not running your artist endeavor as a business, you really should look at the second half anyhow, because it's useful. But I tried to break it into something creatives need to know about money. And then the second part of the book is what you need to know if you're trying to set up a creative business. And so I talk
Mm.
about different kinds of business structures and all of the things that are involved, getting a tax identification number. Some of it's super, super straightforward. It's just that when you're trying to do it and you've never done it, you don't always know where to
Mhm.
get the information from.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have to say, because we're really all of us super busy. If you're
Yeah.
pursuing your creative arts, you are,
Yeah.
but you are amazing. And one of
No.
the things that I want to learn from you is you are like this marketing guru. You are constantly coming up with ideas for selling your books, selling Tornado Alley's anthology, selling. You're just so incredibly helpful to those of us who walked into this and went, "Wait, I have to sell them. I have to
So
market."
I'll tell you a secret, and the secret is when I opened DM Wealth Management, my financial firm in 2003, I was terrible at marketing. And not only was I terrible at marketing, but I hated doing it. Okay, I think that I saw it a lot. And I think it's because it's really hard unless you're really fond of yourself to say, "Hey, work for me, buy my book, come be my client." I mean, it feels very false and very fake. And
Yeah.
so what I have learned to do, and so this is a process of over 22 years, because DM Wealth will be open 22 years in September. I've learned how to do it. And I knew I was bad at it, and I was willing to admit I was bad at it, but I also had to fix it. And so
Mm.
I've done a lot of talking to friends, I've done a lot of reading. And so, yeah, actually, at this point, I like the marketing part of it. I think the social media part is fun. I've got a TikTok account that features my talking cats that give financial advice. You can find
That's
everything.
cool.
Yeah, it's either Peggy Doviak author, or Ask Peggy, because the three personal finance books all have Ask Peggy as part. It's on the cover of all of them. And so
Mhm.
the TikTok's under Ask Peggy. But yeah, what's fun about the writing, what I have to do in finance, and I have to be really careful about the advertising, the selling books is way more fun, way easier.
Oh, that's good to know. I can't say
Well,
that I
maybe
ever
not,
gave
but
it a chance
compared to,
to do
I just jumped into the deep end of a pool, and I had one client who was my mother, and I put one ad in the paper, and I hung a sign over the door and was like, "Here I am." And you got to figure it all out, and did not come from a family of entrepreneurs at all. And so it
that.
was just a whole lot of figuring out, if you've actually just opened a financial firm, how in the world are you going to make this work?
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about organizations for creatives, because
Mhm.
for us, we all are a part of Sisters in Crime, which is a
Yes.
national uh, group of writers. And we also belong to the chapter for our area, the Tornado Alley chapter.
Mhm.
And we had this wonderful uh, conference last year, which is where I first heard about your book and got excited about it. It was a wonderful conference, and I was so
It was.
pleased. And now we have this one coming up this spring in March on the 22nd.
Mhm.
And we have so many wonderful people going to be there, and so many opportunities for these creatives around this, not only just around Oklahoma City, but all of Oklahoma, maybe Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. And I mean, you can come from anywhere you want to be
Sure.
able to meet with other creatives. And for those people just starting out, there is a wealth of information that you can pick up at this conference.
Oh, I
And
think you
it
can
doesn't,
get great information even if you've got a book or two out. I think you can get tons
oh,
of information.
absolutely,
And you don't even
because
really
we
have to
go
be a
every year.
mystery writer. Yes, it's Sisters in Crime. Yes, there's a mystery emphasis, but a lot of it is just good writing. And so, if you're
Absolutely.
watching this video and you think it sounds like a lot of fun, go to our it's Tornado Alley Sync, so TornadoAlleySinc.org, and that will give you the registration, or go to Tornado Alley Sync on Facebook and you can find the
Mhm.
registration. Even if you're not a mystery writer, we're a super fun group and I think you'd have a good time.
Absolutely. And I took my critique partner last year, who writes fantasy and historical, and she came away with as many pages of notes as I did. She
Right,
loved it. So,
right.
absolutely, you don't have to be a woman, you don't have to be a certain age, you don't have to write a certain genre. Our
That's right.
organization is really helpful to just about any creative who is looking for an organization to join, right?
Right,
Uh,
right.
Everybody, I want you to thank Peggy for me. She has been, or Peggy, she has been so helpful for all of us, and we will just see all of you
Yes,
March
absolutely.
22nd.
And you're
All
very
right.
kind. No, it's a great organization. Don, I appreciate your taking the time to do this.
Oh, no problem. It's so much fun to talk about creative enterprises and about this organization that you and I both love. So
Right.
we will see you all at the conference.
Yes. Very good.